What's up, guys? Eric Prey, Focus Fishing Guide Service, Table Rock Fishing Intel. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, December 20th. Been out on the water, let's see, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, since last, and I think Thursday. So about 4 or 5 times since the last time we did a report. Bite has not changed a lot. It's changed a little bit. Water temperature's changed a little bit, but the bite is still actually pretty good. Had a pretty good morning today. As far as our lake level, we are at 914.6 essentially, so about 4/10 of a foot below normal winter pool. That rain we got last weekend really brought the lake up, so it's been pretty good. Core's not running a lot of water. They're just basically meeting power demand, so they're really not drawing the lake down any. Water temperature has dropped off with these colder nights, and we've got some weather coming in the next couple of days and some really cold temperatures in the next couple of days. So we're around 52 degrees, 51 to 52 is what I saw most of the day today. I would imagine if it gets as cold as they say it's going to get, we'll start to see the lake drop into the upper 40s in some locations. I imagine up the rivers it's going to get really cold, probably mid to low 40s, maybe even lower than that. Main Lake, you're probably going to be around 48 to 50 would be my guess. We'll see after the cold snap, because we're going to be fishing a lot after Christmas. But the bite's been really good, and we've had a lot of reports lately, and the best way to stay on top of what's going on, how to catch them on Table Rock, check out Table Rock Fishing Intel, become a pro member, get those daily reports. I think we've had 5 or 6 in the last couple of days. I'm going to do another one today. And I mean, guys are catching fish, and the best way to know before you come down here, join Table Rock Fishing Intel and become a pro member and get all that information before you get to the lake. But if you're coming down, I'm going to fish the lower end of the lake. Lower end continues to be strong on the deep bite. A lot of fish coming deep. They're a little bit deeper than they have been, but we are still catching them deep. Mostly Main Lake or up Long Creek on those channel swing banks and those gravel points. A lot of fish coming off of gravel humps. Not so many coming out of the trees. I did catch quite a few out of the trees on Saturday, but most of the fish are coming on the Main Lake or in the bigger creek arms off of the gravel humps. That seems to be where most of the shad still are. We've got a few shad working their ways into the creeks, but not like you would expect at this time of year. And they are a little bit deeper. 45 to 60 seems to be the magic depth range. Have caught them as deep as 75, but it seems like the bulk of the fish, especially the spots, have been in that 45 to 60 foot range. Catching them on a scuba spoon, we're catching them on a jigging wrap, catching them on a scope spin, catching them on Damiki, catching them on a drop shot rig. So anything you like to fish deep, you can catch fish doing that right now. Shallower bites that are working, we're still seeing a few fish coming on crankbaits, especially if you get a cloudy, windy day, which we've had a lot of those lately. But a cloudy, windy day, you can catch them on transition areas with a rock crawler or a wiggle wart, so keep that in mind. And the jig bite down by the dam's kind of slowed. We went out and fished a jig a little bit on Monday down by the dam, and it wasn't nearly as good as I expected it to be. So most of the fish we caught, we tried to fish shallow. We fished a crankbait a little bit and caught a few. And I think we had 2 or 3 on a jig, and then we moved out deep and found like 30, 40 fish out deep. So the deep bite's definitely stronger than anything else down by the dam. Go in the mid-lake area, deep bite is really strong there as well. I mean, as far as consistency, if you want to go out and catch a bunch of fish and just have fun, the deep bite's the way to go right now. Same sort of deal there, though. There are a few in the trees. You can catch a few in the trees. You can catch a few in the creek arms if you can find the shad. But the bulk of the shad, the bulk of the fish have been on these gravel points, gravel runouts, gravel humps out there on the Main Lake, close to channel swings, most of them 40 to 60 foot deep, right on the bottom, or just suspended just off of the bottom if there's shad around. You can catch them on a scuba spoon, a jigging wrap, a scope spin, a drop shot rig, a Damiki rig, whatever you like to throw deep, just like anywhere else on the lake. The deep bite's really strong for numbers of fish. If you want to target some bigger fish, there are some largemouth and some smallmouth up, and some better ones that you can catch up there shallower on a crankbait. The rock crawler's been better than the wiggle wart, but you can catch them on both. Transition areas where you go from big rock all the way down to gravel seem to be best. Wind and clouds, of course, help that. And the jig bite's definitely stronger in the mid-lake than it is anywhere else. And most of those fish are in that 8 to about 15 foot range. hanging around secondary points, hanging around timber on secondary points really seems to be key. Doing better with a spider jig than a football jig right now just because of the cover, and catching quite a few doing that as well. Go up in the James. Haven't fished deep in the James. I imagine there is a deep bite, especially from about 0.12 down. Most of what I've done on the James has been, from about Cedar Cove on up. Doing good with a crankbait up there. Rock crawler more than a wiggle warp, but I'll catch them on both. Again, those transition areas less than 10 feet deep has been key. And paralleling the bank and covering water. It's not like you can go down a 100-yard stretch of bank and catch 10 fish. You've got to cover water, but it's a great bait to cover water. Cloudy, windy, of course, helps that. And then the jig bite. The jig bite's been probably best up the James and really from about 0.12 to right around Cape Fair. Maybe a little bit almost to Bridgeport, but not. It's really 0.12 to about Cape Fair is when it's been best. Again, throwing the spider jig. Okeechobee blue continues to be a good color. Bass whacker is a good color if you get into some off-colored water. And matching it up with either the speed craw or the Versa craw, and working it slow on the bottom, less than 10 feet deep. If you've got any wood around and you've got some sunshine, key on that wood because it has been holding a little bit more warmth and it seems to be holding a few more fish when you get up there that shallow. White River, where I was today, we fished deep most of the morning. I think we had 35 or 36 fish and probably at least 25 or 28 keepers. Didn't really have any big fish, but we had a lot of good, solid, 16 to 18-inch Kentuckys up there. Most of what we caught were more relating to the bottom. We did catch a few suspended in trees and a couple of creeks. But the better bite was, excuse me, certainly on the bottom, either on the main lake gravel points, 45 to 60 foot deep, or we did catch a few in a creek, in the gut of a creek, 55 foot deep, right on the bottom. But those seem to be the smaller fish. The better fish all seem to be out on those points where we could find some shad. The fish weren't necessarily in the shad, but they were around the shad. Caught them on a scuba spoon, jigging wrap, scope spin. Caught a couple on a Demiki, didn't drop a drop shot down there at all, but I'm sure you catch them on a drop shot as well. Jig bite's strong as well, and those jig fish have been a lot of smallmouth, well, a few smallmouth and some largemouth on those transition areas, rock to gravel, anywhere from about 10 to about 15 foot deep. They're a little bit deeper there because the water's a lot clearer, and around wood cover really seems to make a difference there. And then the crankbait bite. Didn't throw a crankbait today, but I know a couple of guys I've talked to have caught them on a crankbait up there, mostly on a rock crawler, mostly on transition areas, and it's better when you've got wind and when you've got some cloud cover. Haven't really talked to anybody catching them on a jerkbait yet, but I imagine that jerkbait bite, if this water cools down like I expect it to, that jerkbait bite's probably going to kick off, and it usually kicks off in that shell knob area down to about Baxter before it kicks off anywhere else. Guys, it is a couple days before Christmas, I guess 5 days before Christmas, so Merry Christmas to y'all. Bite's been good. We've been catching a lot of fish. Even on Friday and Saturday when it was cold and windy and we really couldn't fish the main lake, we caught several fish fishing out of treetops, and the bite's really been good. You just got to work a little bit harder when it's like that, but the bite has been really strong lately. Best way to know what's going on, how we're catching them, and how the other guides are catching them, check out Table Rock Fishing Intel and become a pro member and get that pro membership. That lets you know before you go to the lake the best way to catch the fish and the best way all the guides are catching the fish right now. And the tournament results. We got a tournament coming up on Monday. We'll definitely have tournament results from that as well. But if you're coming down, want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743 or hit my website, focusfishing.com, and you can either book right online or shoot me an email. Or if you're looking for a last-minute Christmas gift, we do have gift certificates available that we can email out to you basically as soon as you send us your request and the money through PayPal. Boom, we'll send you that, and you can do it all the way up to Christmas. But get a hold of me, book online, or just shoot me an email, let me know what's going on, and we'll get you booked. We'll get out there, we'll catch some fish. Great time to learn how to catch them deep right now. But guys, thanks for watching the video. Take a minute, check out Table Rock Fishing Intel if you haven't done so. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.